Not many people have heard of complex post-traumatic stress disorder, but 20% of us are living with the condition without realising. So Alison is going to tell me a bit more about CPTSD and the symptoms. So Alison, what is complex post-traumatic stress disorder?
Well, it's related to, but quite different to, the more commonly understood PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of one event. But complex PTSD is the result of a prolonged period of trauma in childhood from birth to 15 years usually. And it's about growing up in an environment where there's emotional neglect, where there's humiliation, anger, violence. So growing up in a household basically devoid of, or not devoid, but without much love really. Yeah.
So can you tell me a bit about the symptoms that people might experience?
Yeah, there's 5 main ones, and the first one is what we call emotional flashbacks. They're not quite like flashbacks, they're not visual, but they are felt. And often you can just think, oh, I just feel down, but actually it's repetitive and usually a result of triggers and going back to that emotional state. And the other one is toxic shame, which is something that CPTSD sufferers have, which is a shame of being you, of being born. It's an all-pervasive shame of yourself, which is very painful and difficult to live with. And combined with that, then there's the vicious inner critic, and I use the term vicious. I'm not good enough, I'm fat, I'm bad, I'm ugly, I'm just, nothing is good about yourself. So then you do the lack of self-care, which you call self-abandonment. So you abandon yourself really. So you have lack of compassion for yourself, no self-care, no self-confidence. So it becomes a vicious circle with that. And as a result of those, you can imagine you suffer from social anxiety.
Yeah.
And with social anxiety, you tend to isolate. So there's loneliness, where you detach, and detachment is another one. You detach from your own feelings. And
I expect there's some drugs and alcohol could be a problem for some people as well.
Exactly. A lot of people, they suffer with the lack of relationships. And as we know now, if there's a lack of connection, you have that feeling, which you turn to alcohol and drugs to self-medicate in a way. And a lot of people with complex PTSD do. So there's mood swings, depression, there's a lot of symptoms that go along with it. But the good news is...
I was going to say, is there any hope?
Yes, because it's not something you're born with, it's something that you learn in childhood. You learn to be this way and to respond this way. So there's many techniques and ways, and many people who have completely recovered and healed from complex PTSD. So that's the good news. And all sorts of ways of doing it and lots of support there.
And perhaps we can talk a bit more about that in other videos.
Great. Thanks, Ez.
Thank you, Alison.